Hello, everyone, and welcome back to REI Sports Network, where education, sports, and opportunity meets. Today, we have the one and only Kenneth Sanders on with us from East Valley Basketball and so much more. So, we get to have a fun conversation about youth, basketball, culture, community, and experiences. So, hello, Mr. Ken.
Miss Wright, how are you? Thank you so much for having me as a guest on your program.
For those of you guys who don't know, his side job is a comedian. So, um, we're gonna go into the show. So you get some little anecdotes, and he has graciously decided to record this. I think it's about 10 p.m. or something like that. Where you're at right now?
Yeah, yeah, I'm in Bangor, Maine. All right, probably the most outer eastern part of the country that you can be in. Everything closes at 5 o'clock. It's crazy, but the seafood, unbelievable.
It is. When I lived in Boston, I would go to Maine. I had to make sure. Yeah, chef's kiss,
Good,
definitely.
good seafood.
So
Good seafood. Yeah,
I gotta make my way back around there. So,
for sure.
all right. Well, again, thank you for coming on. And can you actually tell us a little bit about yourself? Who is Kenneth Sanders?
I don't think we have enough time to go over that, but I'm gonna give you the short version.
Thank you.
Um, Yeah, so my name is Ken Sanders. I grew up in Michigan. I actually started coaching basketball when I was 16 years old. Um, it was a conway to get into the gym, so I asked the JV coach if I could be an assistant and learn the game. But it was all just to get a key to be able to get in the gym when everybody couldn't get in, get some extra shots up and all of that. But in the process of doing that, I be I became closer to the game and really wanted to learn coaching. So it helped me play the game, study the game, and I've been doing that now six or something. And so about 48 years I've been coaching. Uh, I've been fortunate to coach at the high school, collegiate level, professional in Mexico, and then on the club scene. Uh, Moved out to Phoenix in 2014. Started out there with Reach Basketball, it's run by Roger Farrington in 2016, and was with Roger until about 2020. Had an opportunity to start what we're talking about, East Valley, with the gentleman, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since June of 2020 with East Valley.
So right after COVID. So
Well,
when
actually,
you were able to come back.
yeah, no, my partner, Matt McPolin, I was introduced to Matt by, uh, I call him the big brother, a friend of mine who was also my insurance agent. And he had stated that, this gentleman was looking for gyms. And, I had, through Reach, I had come to know some people who had facilities and so forth. So in 2019, when we met, uh, he said, "Hey, listen, I'm looking at starting a basketball league." And Matt had run a successful football league, East Valley Football, and they sold the business to Jerry Jones, which he had started a startup company called Gridiron Football, and so they were going around the country buying up big football, flag football programs, and
Yeah.
so sold that and wanted to get into basketball. So, you know, he said, "What about East Valley basketball?" So I thought Matt was just going to, you know, have me as part of the organization just to get the gyms, and then he would just pay me, and then I would just go on my merry way. But it just come to fruition that when I found the gyms and we were set, he goes, "Hey, we should be partners, 50-50 partners." And I said, "Oh, okay." So drew up the paperwork. We were set to start in March, that second weekend in March of
Wow.
2020. So we had laid
Okay.
everything out. We were set. I was no longer with Reach. And so here we go. Week before we were ready to set, everything shuts down. Entire world, not just in that area, but the entire world was at a
Right.
standstill. And so I'm like, okay, what am I going to do now? Because they weren't allowing you to do anything and all of that. And um, but again, I was blessed. Roger continued to pay me through the time until we actually were able to start in June of 2020. We opened gyms. We actually went to 2 academies that we had to do mitigation stuff. Great friend of mine, Jay Gonzalez, over at that time, he was at LFPA, came up with the paperwork, helped us with it, submitted it to his school, and they bought into it. And then there were a lot of parents that just wanted to get their kids off the couch because they've been on the couch since
They've been
March,
sitting for
right?
not, yeah,
And there's
yeah.
no activity. So um, we were able to do that. And Joe Leone, over at that time, he was at LEA there at Cooper and Ray, and we used the same mitigation situation on how to keep the areas clean, moving people through, and all of that. So we were able to
Okay.
start the league, and we were probably the only league going at that time. Um, in June of 2020. And so we were very fortunate, went the whole year without COVID. Didn't have any cases that we knew of with COVID. And we did a very good job of trying to keep things clean and sanitized as we went through it. So that's how we started. And we've been going ever since.
Okay. So I was gonna ask why East Valley, but now it makes sense because if he was already doing East Valley football, it naturally he was just transitioning to a different sport in the same space.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, East Valley football was very successful. They had I believe they had 3 seasons a year that they
Oh,
did it.
okay.
And Matt is a very good organizer. And he had success with the football league. At one point, I think they had 120 teams for flag football. And he had 2 other partners with that, a husband and wife team. And and Matt's background is finances, and so very, very astute businessman from the standpoint of expenses, income, boom, boom, boom. I was just the guy that I shook hands, kissed babies, found our facilities, handled our issues. And Matt, I always say Terry, he was the heavy load carrier. People that knew Matt, how he ran the East Valley Football League, um, they knew that they get the same consistency in the basketball. And what was nice, some of the football teams that were not in, when the season was not
They
going,
would naturally come over.
they would just come over, migrate, and play basketball for 2 seasons. So
Oh,
it worked out perfectly in
yeah.
terms of where we started from. We didn't have to start from scratch like most leagues do. We had, because of his relationships on the football side, um,
They
those
came
guys were
right
looking
up.
for something to do and keep the kids together and all of that when it was hot and couldn't play football in Arizona because it gets 500 billion degrees.
It's seriously plus one,
Yes.
plus one. It's ridiculous. Okay, so me being, I still consider myself new to Arizona. It's going on 3 years, but I've seen and experienced a lot in the hoop culture and environment here. And I must say, I definitely feel that East Valley has one of, if not the most successful, um, definitely most successful leagues that I've seen that's operating here on a consistent basis year round. um, Quality. The parents love it. I've been out to games today. The kids love it, and I know they speak. I've been here 2 years, 3 years. Like they keep their kids in it, and the other ones coming behind it. What do you feel makes you guys so successful, and to be able, and all the noise of people trying to start leagues, do leagues, and whatnot? Why? Why East Valley basketball?
Well, I think, through the process, we've learned a lot. We started East Valley, and then we had club teams that were part of the league. Um, and it was difficult having club teams and those kids who were just learning to play the game. So Matt and I sat one day and we had a hard conversation. In that conversation, when you've had 98 teams, a combination of club and the rec side combined together, not really knowing how strong the rec piece is, and not really knowing how strong the club side is, and you mix them together, it was difficult for us. Sometimes having a lot doesn't mean you're the biggest and you're the best and you're the baddest. Okay. A lot of people equate numbers. Oh man, we got 100 teams. Okay. You hear guys out there about tournaments. Oh, we got 200 teams. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
so we had to sit and make a hard decision. Do we want to continue with rec and club combined? Do we want to do it separate, which would mean more work? Or are we going to just focus on the newbies? Are we going to just focus on the rec side and do that? And so by doing that, what we found out is by going rec, truly, strictly rec, um, our profit margins didn't really suffer that much. As a matter of fact, they probably got a little bit better because people are talking about, hey, it's a true rec league, right?
Right.
And people want to come in and they want to feel a part of, but they also want to know that they're learning something. And so, we prayed about it, thought about it, and we said, hey, we're going to be completely rec. Now, we do have some, club program that we have a partnership with that they have, a couple club teams in, but they've assured us, and we've had the opportunity to see these kids play, that they are truly beginners. And this coach knows that our league is strictly for beginners. And so those teams that he puts into the league, they are, truly beginners, kids that are newbies at this, third, fourth grade, fifth, sixth grade, seventh, eighth grade level. And so by doing that, we average on anywhere from 64 to maybe 72 teams a season. And we have 5 seasons. So we have a winter season, we have a spring season, we have 2 summer sessions, and then we have a fall session, and then we end our year with the fall session.
Okay. So, and that is something I've noticed and really appreciate, because I do like club it's gotten crazy. It's different. It's gotten crazy. And it's created where there's no space for the ones who just want to dribble, who just want to play, who enjoy being active, playing basketball, but also really do want to develop and learn and be better. And I do see that it is, like, I understand and I hear that you keep calling it a rec league, but also I really, really feel that it's a developmental space for these players. And again, because they're coming up. I mean, you guys are K through 12.
Yeah, we start at kindergarten all the way up to high school. And let me clarify. What we want to be is a league where kids can come in, and I think the term that you're using is the correct term. We just call it recreational basketball because it's fun,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Not rec basketball, because you want to label players. We call it recreational because we want kids to come in, have fun doing it, learn the game, and then if they desire to go beyond that, then there are opportunities. And we're right now talking to obviously EBC about a partnership for those kids that are in our league that want to play on the club side. We're in communication, with EBC about that. Um, and then we have a club component that they can, migrate to, but it's all still within the East Valley family.
yeah, and still growing. So that I do like. And I feel like what is happening is your background as a coach first, and even the fact that you came in as a player, like, again, like you said, it was really, I wanted access to the gym so that you can better yourself, so you already understand what it takes to be a better player, which is more reps, more time, more opportunity. And I feel like East Valley basketball allows that for these students or for these kids, so that they can, again, if they want to move on to a higher level, more elite level, they can. But in the meantime, I mean, they get to play. I watch the games. There's constant rotation. There isn't someone just sitting on the bench who's a parent has paid to just watch, you know, little so and so just wax the bench the whole game. Like they're playing, they're engaged. The coaches are coaching. They are coaching. So it gets interesting and it's fun. But I mean, it's rough. It's a whole process. What is parents who are looking for something for their kids? What do you feel like? Why is this a place for them? What is it that the parent is getting out of this for their parent, their kid?
Well, let's talk about that because I think sometimes you see parents trying to live their dreams through their sons and daughters. Okay, and I always tell parents it's not about you or it's not about what you didn't accomplish or whatever the case may be. And I'm not being mean. I'm just saying that let's focus on little Johnny and little Samantha, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um, there's always, even when I was coaching at the club level, you hear parents always talking about, somebody else as a player instead of really concentrating on their child. So when I was coaching, I always had three questions, and I told this to parents. There's three questions when you get in the car or you walking from the gym to the car that you should ask your son. Debrina, how do you think you did today? They might be delusional, okay? But at the end, if you're really a parent that you understand the game and watch the game, you're gonna tell them they're delusional, right? You're not trying to
yeah,
shatter their dreams.
yeah.
Secondly, secondly, you ask them, okay, what do you think you need to improve on? Because you had an opportunity when you were sitting to see all of those players out there, what they were doing, what they weren't doing, compared comparing you to what they're doing and what you're not doing. you know what do you think you need to improve on, right? And then, Debrina, how can I help you? How can mom or I help you improve? And is this something you truly want to do? Because if it is, I'm going to pour the time, money, and effort if you're really going to give this thing a shot, if this is something you want to do. Okay. And if it's not, that's okay. That's the beauty of having a rec league. I can just come out with my friends and do my thing. Now, if I want to take this thing to another level, hey, mom, dad, I think I should look for a club program and so forth. And that's something that we as East Valley probably have been remiss on, is not establishing that side for the club side, and that's probably why we have lost some athletes and some families, because we didn't have a club side to offer them. Especially for those kids that are
Which is
serious
where,
about going and playing this game at the next
yeah,
level.
yeah, which is why thankfully EBC has now, we're in that conversation to be able to provide that to still keep them part of the family, and also it because it in itself is developmental as well. Because sometimes you're still not ready to be thrown to the wolves, right? You still need
Right.
to understand the difference from playing in this level to now you're on this level, and now we can go to the big stuff. So,
Yeah.
uh,
You know, I think some people, um, and I think it's probably indicative of our society. Um, we want to jump. We want to skip levels.
yes.
We want to skip levels. I
Hmm.
don't need that. I'm gonna go right here. Okay.
Hmm.
You see a lot of kids who thought they were professionals, should be professionals, skip levels and didn't make it. You see one and done players. Hey, somebody got in their ear, told them, hey man, you can be the next coming to Michael Jordan, because those folks were looking for the dollars, and it didn't work out. You can go back and see how many players are drafted on draft night in the NBA?
Yeah. Go ahead,
Okay.
preach.
All
Uh-huh.
right. And there's
Mhm.
over 7,000 Division I athletes fighting for 52 spots. And let's just be honest and real about it. It's the first 32 that are most important. Not even the first 32, it's the first 25. Okay. And of that, some of those guys don't make it.
That
So the
right there.
reality of it is it's hard work. It's also being in the right place at the right time. And let's just be honest about it, knowing the right people. Okay. Um, there's very few of you look at the Cooper Flags and them cats, uh, one and done guys. A lot of people think they're one and done, but should have probably stayed 3 and 4 and gotten into the league. So, and the thing I like about REI, that's and I'll push this too, is that not everybody needs to be on the basketball court playing. There's so many other opportunities within, whether it's the NBA, the NCAA, or whatever, that you can still be close to the game and make a pretty decent living. Who says you have to wear the Blazers uniform or the Suns uniform? You don't. What if you worked in the front office? Learn how to be a general manager, learn to be the equipment manager, learning to do the game day stuff. I mean, there's so many opportunities, and even guys that and young ladies that don't make the WNBA and NBA, there's opportunities for them to still be a part of the game. One of those areas is officiating.
Oh my gosh.
Those
Right.
those cats at
Right.
the NCAA level, whether it's Division I, Division II, um, make a great living staying in shape and staying close to the game that got them a college degree, right? Um, so I think we just have to shift shift. It's not about being in front. Sometimes those folks that are behind make those guys shine.
Well,
You
I
know,
mean, you gotta think if you don't
I
be
just what
don't
I
let them. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Because without them, then it's just 12 guys, 24 guys on the court.
absolutely, absolutely. And what they say, the building is only as strong as the foundation. If the foundation is not very strong, the building's gonna come down. Trust me.
Right. So, okay. So going to foundation. So another kudos, and congrats, I want to say, is this season, there's a growth with your girls. So I know we came in and started working with you guys, this past season, but I've been around for a little bit and been watching. You had third and fourth grade girls division. Now you have fifth and sixth grade girl division. So it's growing and they're staying.
Yeah, the reason for that is we have some very solid coaches, dads
Yeah,
who
you do.
coaching their daughters, and they've got friends, and you know, uh, there's a couple of coaches. Candelaria um, uh, is one.
Saw him today.
Brent
Hmm.
Palacio is
Saw him
another
today.
another coach. I mean, they've been very supportive of East Valley, and they're always if there's issues or whatever, very gracious people, merciful people. When they call and they have a complaint, they don't have a lot of them, but when they do, we make sure that we listen, we hear, and then we make adjustments, and that's very important too. When you're talking about not just our girls program, but the league as a whole, customers, when they're paying money, they want to make sure that they're being heard. Are we perfect? Absolutely not. Show me a perfect league out there, and I'll close my doors. Okay, but there's not. Everybody has issues. Like right now, we're looking at trends. Uh, moving towards quarters versus halves, and
Yes, that was a discussion today. So
and
it
and
was it was
so
interesting.
moving to quarters, we had, I think a gym did it last week, got positive feedback from it.
than
but
today.
it actually happened because of the All-Star game put on by REI Prep and EBC. Yeah, okay, we see it. EBC running quarters for the All-Star game that we had at the end of season one, summer season one, and I thought it went off very well. The games got done a lot earlier than we anticipated them getting done. We I was surprised by the number of people who came and watched. We had a
That's so much fun.
uniform fiasco, but guess what? Nobody in the stands knew that there was a fiasco with the uniforms.
Right.
It reminded me, and it reminded me
Old
of those
school.
old All Star games where players came in with the uniforms of their team. So they wore the light colors or the dark colors, depending
Yep.
on if they were East or West. And man, it
It was
worked
so
out.
cool.
It went
Yeah.
off very well. And kudos to you guys coming to want to partner with us. The first one went very well, and I think fans were very happy. Coaches liked it, and so I'm excited about this next All Star game here at the end of summer one. Again, I just want to say thank you guys for coming and want to partner with us to have the All Star games for the young kids.
Yeah. It was fun, and I now am excited because now there will be 6 games because again, we now have the 5th and 6th grade girls division. So this is crazy. And it's 30 years of WNBA. So again, to see the growth everywhere in women's sports and girls sports is nice, and for it to be supported and allow that to happen. So thank you for again
Yeah,
acknowledging and seeing that.
it's man. I thought the All Star game was a nice touch to the end of the season for East Valley, um, and then the kids were excited about it, and the game day atmosphere, playing the music, when they're bringing the ball up the floor, kind of like they did in the league. I
Uh,
think
that was MC Ken,
I think it
y'all.
was
MC
great.
Ken.
I think it was it was a great opportunity and great time, and again, room for improvement, absolutely. Um, and I think notes and things that were taken. Uh, I think we're going to have a great All Star experience this next time too.
And then, so what I love is that you guys are definitely open to growth. So now we're in the discussion of being able to bring a 3v3 clinic and kind of day tournament, right after. We want to kind of keep them playing during the breaks is what it is they're used to it and they're loving to play ball, but like let's switch it up a little bit, and then the season kicks off again. So that's something we're working on. Yes.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people don't. I wouldn't say understand the game, but this 3v3 thing is very big and can be a very vital part to improving the game of basketball and improving the knowledge and basketball IQ.
Hmm.
I happen to be in the airport, New York, LaGuardia Airport, and uh, I was talking to Coach Charles, and we were talking about this very thing, the 3v3, because you were getting ready to do it with the grind session and so forth. And we're trying to come up with ways that we can do this and how we can, get kids excited about it and advertising and so forth. And I just said, I was saying, Coach, this 3v3 thing is very important because this is where kids really truly learn the game of basketball. This is how they learn to move with and without the basketball. This is how they learn to make decisions on a pass or screen or high pick and roll off the action. And while I was saying that, there was a coach from Long Island University, LIU, and I believe Strickland is there. And he came over to me. He says, "Hey, I don't mean that I was ear hustling." That's what he said. I was ear hustling, and you're right about that. Thank you. Somebody finally understands, right? Because if you can teach people the game of basketball with just three, and you add two, it's very easy. But if you've got three and you don't know how to handle the floor with the three and be able to do the things that you do, it becomes very cumbersome. So I'm excited about the 3v3. Um, I think it's going to be an educational thing. I think right now that's what's going on with FIBA 3v3 internationally, with it now becoming part of the Olympics 3v3. Again, I think it's just one of those things. It's going to catch on. You got the big three, but those are former NBA
Unrivaled.
players. You know,
Hmm.
so I think as you see it grow, and then you got rival league, that Stewie came up with on the women's side. What is it? Unrivaled, I think it is.
Unrivaled. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think as you see this 3v3 basketball is going to become very strong and very good. But I think it's also going to help teach everybody and get a higher basketball IQ. If we can just get these kids to understand how to how to be trainable, coachable, and teachable, and then to learn, um, our game will always be a game of just interest and popularity. I get it; football is popular. I like to go and watch it. But the sport that's growing right now, and I think it's the same as soccer. Soccer
Yeah.
is
Oh, yeah.
just
Yeah.
phenomenal,
Well,
right?
here is growing because it's
It's
globally it's
growing.
already a thing.
Yeah. But go
So I'm
go
a
back.
fan.
Go back and see how they do it. Futsal. I think it's something with two or three or four players in futsal, that they teach the kids the individual things. Even when you watch their practices, a lot of things are two and three,
Right.
type, training things that they're doing. Then it all just comes together on the field, which is the craziest thing, right? Um, so it's I think basketball is finally picking up that, okay, hey, three, understanding that, teaching that, and moving that. Now, five is easy to deal with. When three, think about it. If three people know what they're doing, you and I can go out there and be 4 or 5,
And we
and
good.
we're good. Because the three gonna do what they do. And if we're in the way, they're gonna tell us to get the heck out the way,
So
right?
we're supporting
So
cast.
so there's something too when they talked about the big three. The big three when they're talking about these super teams.
Hmm.
Having three, but you also those three have to mesh together too. You can't just throw three superstars out there and expect great things. Um, just think about the Brooklyn Nets when they had who? KD, Kyrie, and James Harden.
We can go back to the Lakers when we decided to have a whole all-star team. Like,
Okay.
that's too many. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Too many stars, and they can't get enough touches. And that type of mentality is trickling down to the
It
collegiate and to these
oh
little
yeah.
young players.
Yeah,
And as I always tell
for sure.
players, listen, Steph Curry to say night night, he getting 50 million. Okay, he getting 50 million for that. So he can act, he can do what he do because he's an entertainer. Let's just call it what it is, right? Let's
Sports
just
and
call it what it
entertainment.
is. Those guys are getting paid to entertain you. Okay, you sell the tickets, they sell the tickets, and you're coming to watch them. If you want to get to that level, you got to understand the game, and you got to work to get there, right? So let's not get this thing twisted. And I think a lot of people think they're the second coming of Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or all of that. No, like I tell kids, be you, be
Right.
you. You
Right.
don't need to. You don't need to be Kobe. You don't need to be Michael. You don't want to be compared to them. Hey, Debrina, you just be Debrina. I don't need you to be, Brianna Stewart. Okay, I just need you to be Debrina. And what does Debrina bring to the table that will help this team? Okay, That's all we need. You look at the game has changed so much. The game has changed so much within the last 5 years with this NIL.
Hmm.
Now this stuff is trickling down. You got rec kids thinking they're the next coming and got an NIL deal. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy. And then parents are delusional about all that too. It's just crazy. I, Basketball, college sports, period. The landscape's changed. You
It,
know,
it has.
you
Yeah.
got you
So
got players coming back. I just heard something the other day. Players going to the NFL, getting cut,
yes,
and they can go back to college. That dude, 24 years old,
thirty, 30.
man,
You got 30-year
crazy.
old rookies.
That's crazy. That's I just don't understand that. And my own personal opinion, the NCAA, because they were ripping these kids off, uh, making millions and millions of dollars, and colleges are also guilty of it. Hey, they should have been just paying these kids $1,000 a month. They'd have never had the Ed O'Bannon situation
Oh my
because the
gosh.
kids,
Oh, Bannon
the kids
Brothers.
were getting, the kids were getting money, and all of this still has an effect on rec basketball because these kids are delusional about who and what they can be. Um, and and in some cases, coaches are looking for their next meal ticket too, trying to get to where they got to get to, and that's a whole nother subject. The game has changed. I just want it to be fun for these kids. I don't care if you go to the next level or not. Not stressful, not a game where mentally you're just challenged all the time. Um, I used to watch a high school team, and I was concerned how these coaches were calling these
Hmm.
kids out of their
Hmm.
name. It's not
I wish you
necessary. And I
would.
went to the coach and I asked. He said, "Well, you got to know where they come from." I don't care where they come from. They're still human beings.
And
Okay?
need respect them.
Yeah. Yeah. Respect that. You're gonna sit here and call a kid this and then wonder why he or she, that's a whole nother subject too. Don't get me preaching. I just think sometimes we got people who are coaching that, they're great coaches, but man, mm, tearing a kid down, not realizing what they're doing to them and all of that. It's sometimes it's just sad to see.
So you touched on something that I just want, because again, we can go all night. We can make it do what it do. It's a topic. It's that right there. So in closing, what is something, or what is a message that you would have to the families, to the players out there who just want to play, just want their kids to participate? Um, what do you want them to know about East Valley basketball?
What say that again?
What the
What do
families
I
and
want
players,
them? What?
those who just want, what do you want them to know about East Valley basketball? What would you want to share?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. I would just want them to know and understand. First of all, we're very reasonable price wise. Everybody would say no, we are. We
They really are. They really
you
are.
know
But
it, if you get in on the early bird, right? We're reasonably priced. Secondly, we are organized. You
yes,
know, a
very
team
much
will
so.
play. A team will play six games, regular season games, and then they'll play a single elimination tournament on the week 7 or week 8. Schedules are fixed for the 6 weeks, so you never have to worry. We do block scheduling, which is different, so that you will come the same block. Like if this age group is from 10:30, 11:20, 12:10, in that block you're going to have a game, so you can plan your day accordingly. So we do the block scheduling. And then, for the most part, your kids are going to have a great experience. We have great referees, in my opinion. Others
They
may
are.
say
They're
different,
amazing. They're amazing.
but we have great referees, and those referees are also teachers on the floor. At the same time that they're roughing the game. So if a kid, young lady, young man make a violation or commits a violation, they basically will, talk to them, talk them through it,
Yep.
especially if the kid's frustrated and they've made the same mistake over and over. So our referees are very good. And then our site managers handles anything that, might create a problem. And we want the kids and families to feel safe and that it is a family organization. And the other thing about us, Matt and I, we pray about our program. You go and look at our mission statement. We don't we don't stress religion and so forth, but we're part of the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and we also offer mentors for our coaches who are brand new in the league. To they don't have the experience or whatever that they get to be with a mentor and understand how to create a practice schedule, how this happens, how to teach certain things and move about. Our biggest problem, and it's just it is a problem, is trying to find enough gyms so that our teams could have full court practice. And I'm just transparent. If if there was a problem that I would say with ours is we have half courts and you really can't get through a lot of things, especially with 60 teams. That means you would have to have 5 days, 3 hours a day on gyms, and there's just not enough gyms around. I mean, that's the biggest problem with leagues is availability for gym, and the schools aren't, they're getting out of that rental business, and there's not a lot of facilities other than somewhere like AAG, but that's way out of the way for where our clientele, is located. So we try to make sure that we stay in the general vicinity where our athletes and their families live in order for them to participate in our
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna end with something I like to do called rapid fire. You ready?
league. Bang bang.
Football or basketball?
Ooh, basketball,
Okay. Uh, waffle or pancakes?
pancakes.
Okay. Ooh, let me see. Let me see. Let me see.
It's not
Uh,
rapping. I'm still alive.
I know. Oh, okay, 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 okay. Let's. Oh, so you said basketball, college basketball, pro basketball.
Neither. High school.
Ooh,
Still, the game is still pure.
yes. Okay,
Still
okay.
pure. As
All
pure
right.
as you can get it.
As you can. That is true.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Um, Pepsi or Coke?
Salted water. Diabetic. Can't drink it.
There you go. Uh, high tops, low tops.
Mids. Old school. Cover up my ankles.
Ain't with
But
you.
I didn't need them up to my calf. So mids.
Oh my gosh, I'm done. He wants to answer the third answer with everything I say. So we're over.
Wait, you said rapid and
Rapid fire.
so
It's either or,
yeah.
not and then.
No, because neither one of them worked for me.
That is true. That is true.
And so, I look at all these ankle rolls right now. Man, I never let my shoe go below my ankle. There's no support there. Y'all better bring back the mids.
Ooh, Pleasant. Vince Carter, T Mac.
Vince, old school, baby. Old school. BC. Vince Carter all day. Vince Carter all day. Man, come on. How can you even choose Tracy? It's Vince Carter all day. He was the man. He was a dunking machine. So it's Vince Carter.
Magic Larry.
Oh, now that's a good one. I'm from Michigan. Magic Johnson.
See, and that's only because of the Michigan, because you still don't even, you like.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a story. So I used to do reporting. I used
Okay.
to have my own show back at home in a little town called Midland, Michigan. So I had press passes to go to basketball games. Larry Bird, Detroit was playing. Detroit was playing the Boston Celtics at Cobo Hall. I want to say Cobo Arena, whatever it was. And I happened to go down and do a story and was following and so you get some bites for my coach's corner show.
Mhm.
And I won't say what Larry said. Larry walks in. Isaiah Thomas was walking past him. He said, "Hey man, I'm gonna go for 50 on y'all." He said, "Bleep bleep 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 bleep." He said, "I'm gonna shoot with my opposite hand." Larry went for 60. Larry's a cold boy. Larry Bird. Larry Bird's a cold boy. Cold boy.
But he
But you
called
know,
it. He pulled a Kobe before the Kobe was pulling Kobe's. All right, you, hey,
man,
this is
listen.
what I'm gonna do to you, and this is how I'm gonna
Larry's a
do it.
cold guy. Larry's a
Yeah.
cold guy. But I have to go with Magic because he's from the state of Michigan, and Magic was the man. Now I'm gonna rapid fire you, Coca Pepsi.
Neither cactus cooler.
See, there you go.
I don't
Okay,
like brown soda.
okay. Uh, Liberty or Mercury?
Sparks.
Yeah.
LA.
All right.
Damn, I'm done what you did. Okay.
See,
See,
now here's the thing that you were saying to
I
me. What did you say? Now the very thing you asked me to do, you don't want to do. But when I do it, I'm wrong. Wow. It's
good
funny how
choices.
people do. It's funny how people do things like that.
I mean, if
Here's
you
what.
said pancakes
Here's
or
our great.
waffles, I would say pancakes. If you
Okay.
say taco burritos, I would say taco.
Here's our great debate, and we'll end with this:
Okay.
the goat of basketball. You got 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh, the goat of basketball. I say Magic.
What? You said Magic as the goat?
It's so many. What I really want to say is AI.
You lost your mind. We lost.
There's the
Wait. Oh.
OG. I
Oh.
mean, you
Oh.
got
Oh. Oh.
you got Dr.
You.
J. You got Will.
You
Like,
saying
it's so
you
many.
saying Magic over MJ and Kobe and LeBron?
First of all, LeBron can kick rocks. Thank God he's no longer a Laker. I'll say that. Yes.
Man, I hope
Um,
LeBron watch this. I hope this don't get out.
it's fine.
I,
LeBron is he's
I hope
awesome.
Brown Brown
I
don't
just
see that.
I'm sorry. Compared to Kobe, MJ, all the others, LeBron is soft. Yes, he go hard, but he's still a crybaby. He a little flopper. He a little blah. You too big to be flopping like you flopping. So
Okay,
sorry.
so is it safe to say you don't like LeBron?
I think it's safe to say I don't like LeBron. And people that know
All
me
right, so the
know.
GOAT. So your GOAT is who? And I'll tell you who mine is.
Dang. I mean, because it was like my heart want to say Kobe, but it's just I think it's because I'm from LA and I've seen what Magic has done, not just as a player, but as a human being, and what he still does. So I'm probably influenced by that as well as a
So
bigger
you,
picture.
you you're not even including Michael Jordan, who won 6 titles, probably if he hadn't taken that sabbatical, would have probably won 8.
Okay.
So
I'm
you're
not
saying,
knocking MJ.
okay,
No, I'm
all
not
right,
knocking MJ. He's he's
okay,
he's definitely part of the conversation. Somebody has to be it for everybody,
okay,
right? Somebody is
okay,
Magic. Some people it's Kobe. Some like they all there, but they're different players. Like even like I can't stand when someone says MJ or Kobe. Even though I've asked it because it's just people just do it. They're not the same. They're two different eras. Even though they played together, it's like big brother, little brother. It's like Kobe took the excellence of MJ and evolved it, right? And then honestly, with LeBron, he's done that and he's just big as all get out and brolic. So he's taking it where he can play pretty much every position strong. But originally, who was doing that? Magic. Magic played every position efficiently.
okay.
I'm
Now
just
ask me
saying.
who I think the GOAT is,
Who's the GOAT, sir?
so that everybody understands where I'm coming from. I think when you have the conversation of GOAT, I think there's a GOAT for every era. Okay, there's a GOAT for every era. So when you talk about the GOAT, I think you need to quantify what era, because there were different folk, different eras.
I agree.
But I have a different approach and philosophy when you talk about the GOAT, because for me, the GOAT is not just about anybody who scores a lot of points, won a lot of championships, or anything like that. I look at the GOAT making an impact on the floor as well as making an impact off the floor. That's those are great people. So for me, and it's an era-based thing, and a lot of the young folk hadn't had the opportunity to see him play, is Bill Russell. Bill Russell changed the game on the defensive end of the floor.
Before my
Bill
time.
Russell
Yes.
won 10 plus championships, even won one as a player coach with the Boston Celtics. But the thing that I'm big with why Bill Russell is the GOAT, because Bill Russell had to play the game at a time where racial tension was high. And he had to go out and perform every single night at a level, okay, that brought Boston championships. So when you really look at the GOAT and who made a difference, and he didn't score a whole lot of points. He was a defensive specialist. But for me, it was the things he did away from the floor that solidified, that actually made the game acceptable for them, meaning Michael, Kobe, Jordan, all of them, to be able to play the game and be able to be accepted, right? So he
Mm-hmm.
played at the worst time that he possibly could. I mean, he didn't even get to stay at the hotels with his teammates.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
he literally had to stay at people's homes and meet his team at the arena. They arranged that stuff early for him to get picked up from the team bus and then driven back to games, right? So when you talk about GOAT, he's my GOAT.
Pioneer.
Now, second, a lot of people won't agree with this, but Magic and Larry can be considered GOATs as well.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and you look at, Bird was drafted by the Boston Celtics the year before that game in '79.
Yes.
Boston had the rights.
Yes.
What we don't know is, did old boy David Stern, one of the best commissioners of sports ever to be a commissioner, put the NBA back on his heels because he probably told somebody, hey, we got to get Magic out because Bird going to play for Boston next year. We got to make this happen. Magic signs a contract that was unheard of. And I don't know if you know, but Magic had gone to meet with the Kings. And the Kings were ready to offer him the number 1 pick.
Yes.
Year before that big game. And his daddy was in there with him. And he said, his daddy said, say, hey, man, we're ready to make you blah, 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 blah. Dad said, hold on, we got to have a conversation. Went out there, he said, hey, are you broke now? Yeah. Said, well, it ain't going to hurt you to be broke one more year. So they walked out. Now, Magic and Bird, the most watched collegiate basketball championship ever at that point.
Ever.
They saved the league. If it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for Stern being a gangster, Stern was straight gangster because he got Magic to leave Michigan State and put him on the West Coast. Stern knew what he was doing. East Coast versus West Coast. White versus black. And he got him both.
Ever. Lakers,
he
Boston.
Got him both shoe deals with Converse. So, we can look at and say,
business
goats and so forth.
Business.
Like before Magic and Bird, games were tape delayed. Only real game you saw was on Sunday. Because I used to watch CBS and Pat O'Brien all the time. Pat O'Brien was my dude, right? So I love the halftime show. And then back then, they had Red Auerbach at halftime teaching people how to do things, moves, high posts. Man, that was for real, right? And so when you look at that and you think back, and I think back, newscasters say, hey, turn your TVs off. You don't want to know who won the game because you're watching the tape delayed game. It was Magic and it was Bird that changed all of that. Without that, without Bill Russell doing the activist thing, without Bill Russell doing that, making life easier for these guys when they went on the road, Magic and Bird, you don't have Michael. You don't have Kobe. The league was on the brink of actually going bankrupt.
Yes.
With Larry O'Brien, they didn't have merchandising sales. Okay. And then comes David Stern. Earn every nickel, dime, quarter, all of that. So for me, it's Bill Russell because of what he did on the court and off the court. And a lot of folk wouldn't know because if you haven't read about him, you didn't get to see him or anything like that, you wouldn't understand, And then you got the likes of Wilt Chamberlain. Like if Wilt really had some discipline, he'd have scored 50,000 points because he was that dominant.
You're right.
Wilt would tell the coach, hey, man, I'm playing half. I got, and hey, let's do this, right? But just think, I mean, that GOAT argument, everybody has an argument that they can talk about who the GOAT is, right? And I think I laid mine out very well, what a GOAT really is. I don't care about whether you score a gazillion points. What are you doing for your team on that floor? Then what are you doing for your community representing that team away from the floor?
Which again is why I play Magic.
Now we talking. Now there's a conversation. It's a conversation. Again, but for now, the conversation should be who's the GOAT of eras.
Yeah,
now
we have that now. Yeah.
Yeah. And then who do you think the GOAT is just from just the league itself?
Period. The game as a whole.
Right? And you go from there. And everybody's going to have their own opinion. But hey, 10 straight rings plus, Listen, Bill Russell had to go on when people were pouring Coca-Cola on him and his uniform wet, and he still had to go and perform. Did Mike ever have to go and deal with that? No. Did Kareem have to go and deal with that? No. And guess what? I'm a Kareem boy. I love me some Lou Alcindor. Okay? Kareem was the man. I done read every book that Kareem wrote. All right? And the Cat Out of Power Memorial, come on, man. Come on now. Kareem was the man. You don't hold a scoring record for 40-some years being a
Right.
slouch.
Right.
I think Kareem was probably one of the most misunderstood people, and then people just did him dirty. And, I remember when Kareem, I was so mad. Phoenix had an opportunity, Kareem, and they lost the coin flip to Milwaukee. It was Phoenix and Milwaukee. And Phoenix messed up on the coin flip. So he easily could have been out in Phoenix, being the son. Okay. But he was with the Milwaukee Bucks, man, Junior Bridges, all them cats, right? And man, 33, shoot, I wore number 33 too, because I love me some Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Louis Alcindor. Man. But I don't even put him in the conversation. He's my guy. Like, Kareem's my guy. But
yeah. But I mean, there's so many like that though. Like that really are like pioneers of the game that changed the game. And like again, AI underrated. They're like, oh AI, but it's like he changed the game and the culture of basketball. Like,
well, I think AI was before his time.
Well, definitely, yeah.
I think it was before his time.
Yeah.
And and when you think about it right now, Sabrina, even how these athletes are training now is entirely different. Like when I trained, man, and we was hitting them bleachers, you had the weight jacket on your back.
Stadiums?
You had the pump machine that you had to, do that with. Folks wearing ankle wraps, all of that stuff. And now,
remember the shoes with the weight on it?
Yeah, and now technology is so far advanced.
Yeah.
That these kids are training differently, and I'm like, wow, it's just amazing. And then I'm like, I tell kids, I don't need all this herky jerky east west. I just need you to get the rock to the cup.
Hey, big fundamentals, Tim Duncan.
And that's what bothers me about the league is that you got 18 seconds and LeBron James gonna hold the ball for 14 of them. How come we ain't calling 5 seconds? How come we ain't doing the 5-second count on these clowns? Incorporate team, and that's what has happened. Basketball in the 80s and 90s. What did they do? They promoted teams. They did not promote individuals. They promoted teams. Now, it's LeBron James and his Lakers, kind of like Smokey Robinson and his Miracles.
Right.
Or Diana Ross and her Supremes. And so the game has changed so much, and I think a lot of these players have become coddled. To make $53 million for 6 months of work, it's absurd. Absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. I don't care what anybody say. To play a game that you love and you need that type of money, you don't love the game. You love what the game's giving you. It ain't about your love for the game. It's about the money that the game's giving. Entirely different. But this is a new day. It's a new era. That's why I don't coach no more. I'm retired.
I'll coach the itty bitties.
Can't do it.
If you bring me out of retirement, it's gonna have to be the little bitties. So they tainted.
I can't even come out of retirement because these kids and their parents are out of control.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
we don't even want to get pulled back into that one.
That's a whole nother subject matter.
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. But I love the game. I love, the game took me around the world. Um, I had an opportunity to grow as a person, had success, had, non-success, or I call, like I tell people, it's winners and non-winners. Nobody's ever a loser. You just happen to not win that night. Okay.
Right.
Um, I don't like the term loser. And even when I, you know, talk to little kids or coach kids, you're either winner today or you're
Yeah,
non-winner today.
you didn't win tonight.
You
Or
didn't
you
win
didn't
tonight,
win this game.
but you
I'm the
always
same
have an
way.
opportunity to be a
Yeah,
winner. Everybody has an opportunity to be a
yeah.
winner, and not everybody's going to be a winner every night, right? So
Right.
understand that, and teaching young kids um, to understand that, and that's just a life lesson. That's a life thing.
Right.
It has nothing to do with basketball, or football, or whatever. You're not going to get that job. You're not. So if you don't get it, what are you going to do next time that it comes up to get it? How am I going
Right.
to be a winner the next time? I'm a
Right.
non-winner today. And if they see and understand that being a non-winner is not that bad, and but you can still have the opportunity and place space to win, then let's do that. Let's do that. So look, we all, we need to change the mindset. And winning is not everything. Winning a
Play,
trophy,
play,
winning a championship
participate,
is not everything. It's not the
learn.
end to everything.
Right. Yes.
But
Right.
what did you learn if you didn't win that time?
Right. And what did you learn when you won? How did you win?
I'm done preaching. I might as well. Y'all could pass the offering plate.
I
Next
know
20.
is it already Sunday there?
Pretty close. Pretty close.
He
We,
warming up. He warming up.
we
Oh
8 minutes
gosh.
away from Sunday.
Yeah, we gonna have to run this back. Because I definitely need
Absolutely.
to have you and Coach Charles on here because we also need to talk about SNC sports and education
Yeah,
and who
absolutely.
who oversees pretty much REI Prep, EBC, and other projects. And there's other stuff that we have in the works to be able to assist and support the community.
Absolutely.
Um, and
Absolutely.
again, the
Yeah, I'd just
now
like to, throw some shout outs out there to my partner, Matt McPolin. He and I have been in this for, now starting year 7. I just thank him for his leadership and abilities to run a successful business. Um, I taught him what business looks like because he was always, a numbers guy. Boom, 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 in terms of success. The referees are out there, Elgin Taylor, Ira Nunley, and Levon Brown and James Mason. Those guys, they do a tremendous job with helping keeping things in line and order on those floors, and just teaching the kids. So just want to give a shout out to them. And then more importantly, I just want to say I thank God for the opportunity that He has blessed us with to be able to do this and to impact 750 plus kids and families' lives
season.
every season, 5 seasons a year. This is a ministry. I consider it a ministry to be able to do what we do and offer what we offer. It's just without him, Matt and I don't have anything, and that's why we're quick to always talk about grace and mercy. Not going to do it the right way all the time. Somebody's going to come at us crazy. But at the same time, when you work it out and work through it, it always works out, for the betterment of the people in the community. So just thank, just thank those folks that continually support us, come and play in the league. Um, it's just been an enjoyable ride so far. And hopefully we got a lot more years to go. I'm old. Somebody, somebody.
Man. Well,
And
I
thank you.
want to thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I just, you are a go-getter, a grinder. Um, your energy and your positivity has meant so much to not only S&C sports, but anybody that you come in contact with, East Valley or whatever the case may be. Um, Very positive, and you're always looking for the angle of positivity, and that's so important. I don't think I've heard or you text anything negative. You always ask for support, and that's a good thing. So thank you for you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for the energy, and never quit. Never.
I don't know what that looks like.
I think somebody
Just how to
else.
get better. Just how to get better. So, and thank you for coming on. This has been great. This is a lot. It was great. It was really, really good conversation. Really, really good conversation.
Yeah.
It was fun.
We'll have to
It
do
was,
it again sometime, and
yeah.
just let me know. I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Likewise. Have a good night. And to everyone out there, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to slice and slice this all which ways. A lot of great content, a lot of great conversation. But until next time, again, thank you for coming on and watching us here at REI Sports Network. There is no shortcuts, just miles.